Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Source 16 News at 10. I'm Tammy Hancock. New this hour, Governor Steve Beshear traveled to Western Kentucky today to assess storm damage and response efforts in the region.
The fact that the Army Corps of Engineers blew the levees over in Missouri has created, I think, a situation that is going to help us in the long term. In the different areas that we've been to, the water has gone down some, and we're now a little more hopeful that we can avoid at least some of the devastating damage that we were otherwise expecting. Hickman seems to be in decent shape right now. Paducah is okay, and they now think that their convention center may be okay now that the water levels have gone down some as a result of the blowing of the levees. We're still extremely worried about Smithland, Ledbetter. I think that's going to be a close call.
The governor says he is thankful that Kentuckians have been spared from the disaster, like in Alabama, but also expressed his condolences to those families who lost a loved one due to severe weather.
We've obviously had some evacuations, and we're trying to stay on top of that, make sure that people get out at the appropriate times. I know nobody wants to leave their homes, but we're worried about their lives, and we just want to make sure that they're safe. You know, as tough as we've got it right now and as much property damage as we're suffering, we have at least not had the devastating loss of life that places like Alabama have had, and I know we're all thankful for that, and that our prayers are with those families who have lost loved ones. We've had one flood-related casualty, an off-duty policeman, I believe in Mayfield.
After visiting Fulton and McCracken counties this morning, Beshear was at the Benton Armory in Marshall County to visit the recently opened Regional Emergency Coordination Center to ensure all emergency management agencies were communicating properly and that the agencies had enough resources to respond to emergencies. According to Beshear, the emergency response efforts during this disaster was nothing short of heroic. Kentucky Transportation Cabinet crews are working hard to keep an evacuation corridor open along U.S. Highway 60 in the western portion of Livingston County. Ohio River floodwaters are threatening to block this important transportation artery about a mile east of the Tennessee River Bridge that connects the Ledbetter community to Paducah. Highway engineers have used milling material to build up the roadway several feet to keep it above rising floodwaters. Transportation Cabinet spokesman Keith Todd reports the Paducah River gauge had a reading of 54.8 feet just before 10 o'clock last night, with projections calling for a crest at 55.5 feet by 1 o'clock Thursday morning. The Tennessee Valley Authority and the Corps of Engineers are predicting unprecedented lake levels for Lake Barkley and Kentucky Lake. The current lake levels are 372.5 feet and are rising due to varying predictions because of continuing rainfall. Officials of Land Between the Lakes National Recreational Area say the lake levels have caused flooding along all of LBL's shoreline. Staff has closed and barricaded all LBL boat ramps, campgrounds, lakeside campsites, trails, and roads. Anyone found beyond barricaded areas will be issued a citation, according to LBL officials. Star Camp will be temporarily open for camping with a backcountry camping permit. Other LBL day use facilities that are open include North Welcome Station, Nature Station via the Silver Trail Road, Elk and Bison Prairie, Golden Pond Visitor Center and Planetarium, Golden Pond Target Range, the Home Place, South Bison Range, and South Welcome Station. Activities such as hunting, picnicking, and hiking will be available in limited areas. However, extreme caution should be used due to saturated soil conditions and weather conditions. Before heading to LBL, visitors are encouraged to check the Alerts and Notices page at lbl.org for current information, open, closed lists, and other details due to the recent storm damage and continued flooding. Meanwhile, Hopkinsville residents are still having to find alternate routes around the city to get to their destination due to the flooded areas around town. According to Mayor Dan Kemp, officials have been monitoring the river gauges, which are accessible to the public on the city's website by going to agencies, then Community and Development Services, then river gauges. Mayor Kemp says the north and south forks of Little River appear to have crested at the water plant and US 6880 east of the city. Based on contact with Christian County Emergency Director Randy Graham and other personnel, the mayor says he is unaware at this time of anyone who has been forced to evacuate their home or business due to flooding. Mayfield Mayor Teresa Cantrell is asking citizens for help in stuffing an ambulance to help out flood victims. According to Cantrell, her office has been flooded with calls of people wanting to reach out to help area flood victims. She says an idea came about that other entities are doing throughout the area, but with an extra twist. Mayfield Fire Chief Mike Jones came up with the idea to stuff an ambulance with cleaning items that area flood victims might find useful as they struggle to get back to normal. The Stuff an Ambulance event will take place next Monday and Tuesday, May 9th and 10th on the parking lots of City Hall and Fire Station 1. The ambulance will be available for stuffing with items between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. on both days. All items collected will be distributed to area flood victims by the local chapter of the American Red Cross. Some suggested items include bleach, household cleaning products, mops, buckets, brooms, rakes, sponges, paper towels, garbage bags, insect repellent, and sunscreen. Mayor Cantrell says all items should be new and unopened. For more information, you can contact Chief Jones at 270-251-6248. In other news, during tonight's Hopkinsville City Council meeting, council members approved the first reading of an ordinance that will increase sewer and water rates. Under the ordinance, Hopkinsville residents will see a 76-cent increase, Pembroke residents will see a $1.04 increase, and Oak Grove residents will see about a $1.54 increase to their bills. During the mayor's comments, Mayor Dan Kemp talked about the recent rainfall and how the amount of rain has set a new record.
Everybody knows that we've received a tremendous amount of rain, and the exact amount for the last 10 days does qualify as a 100-year, more than a 100-year flood event with 12.27 inches of rain in the last 10 days. We're very grateful and pleased to report that we don't know of any family or business which had to move out of their home or business.
In other business, City Council approved a community development block grant worth over $313,000 for various programs. Also during tonight's meeting, two special solid waste employees, Christopher Combs and Daryl Hook, were recognized for a heroic deed.
Because of them being very conscientious about doing their jobs, they managed to save the life of a young person here in Hopkinsville just a few days ago.
Councilwomen Kimberly McCarley and Marble Slagle were absent from tonight's meeting. Murray Elementary School has a new principal. Farmington Elementary School's principal, Denise Whitaker, was named as the new Murray Elementary School principal yesterday afternoon. She will take over the head position from Lori Booth of Marshall County, who was named interim principal after the former MES principal, Janet Caldwell, retired. Whitaker is a Murray State University graduate and taught at Murray Elementary from 1998 to 2001. She also taught at Graves County for 1 year before being hired at Farmington Elementary School, where she taught 1 year before being named as principal. Whitaker lives in Murray with her husband and 2 children who will be attending Murray Independent Schools next year. We now have more details concerning the fire of a popular landmark that burned to the ground last week. Source16 spoke to Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department's Assistant Chief and Fire Inspector Lonnie Force today, who told us the fire at Charlie's Steakhouse started in a walk-in cooler located in the attic and was caused by an electrical malfunction. The assistant chief says because the fire was not considered suspicious at the scene, an official investigation into the fire will not take place since the building was old. As we reported on the night of April 26, volunteer firefighters battled the blaze at the Fort Campbell Boulevard business for several hours. At the scene, Oak Grove Deputy Fire Chief Bill Johnson told us when firefighters arrived around 9:20, the fire was already in the attic and they were not able to make entry into the building because the roof was unsafe. Charlie's Steakhouse, located at 14,850 Fort Campbell Boulevard, has been in business since 1959. 3 Hopkinsville residents are behind bars facing manufacturing meth and other drug-related offenses after police found methamphetamine components in the trunk of a vehicle. Around 2:30 this morning, Hopkinsville police pulled over a silver vehicle at the intersection of West 16th and Canton Streets that matched the description of a vehicle involved in a disturbance at the Kangaroo on North Main Street. Police say the driver, 28-year-old Lindsay Clan DeCourcy, was driving on a suspended operator's license that was found beside the driver's seat. When police found a folding knife with a serrated blade and asked to put it in the trunk of the car, officers found a large tank wrapped in a black garbage bag, 16 lithium batteries, 4 cans of starter fluid, and a digital scale, all items consistent with manufacturing meth. Clan DeCourcy was arrested and charged with her second or greater offense of manufacturing methamphetamine, possession, theft, and tampering with anhydrous ammonia with intent to manufacture meth, violations of condition of release, possession of a fictitious suspended operator's license, and operating on a suspended license. Her 2 passengers, 33-year-old Billy Fawn and 26-year-old Amanda Fawn, were also arrested by police and charged with manufacturing meth and other meth-related offenses. All 3 subjects were lodged in the Christian County Jail. Taking a look at Tuesday's or tonight's Mega Millions jackpot, it's up to $51 million, and tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is $36 million.